Good morning, everyone. I hope this finds you well and living your best life in Jesus Christ. Recently, I was trapped in a doctor's office that insisted on playing what they called classic rock while the patients were waiting to see the doctor. Now, as a musician, I love music and have no real problem with any genre of music, but this particular station was particularly grating on my nerves. I was about to stuff paper in my ears when an oldie by Crosby, Stills, and Nash called Teach Your Children came on. I remember liking the song many years ago, but I'd forgotten the lyrics. As I listened, though, some of the lyrics struck me. It begins, "You who are on the road must have a code that you can live by." And then it goes on to talk about teach your children well. That's a pretty good code to live by. Actually, it was God's idea from the beginning. In Genesis 17:7, God said, "I will establish my covenant between me and you and your descendants after you for the generations to come, to be your God and the God of your descendants after you." An important part of being a believing parent or teacher of any kind is to pass on the faith to our children. Peter put it this way, "The promise is for you and your children to all who are far off, for all whom the Lord our God will call." That, of course, is Acts 2:39. That same principle was in operation as Israel crossed the Jordan. Joshua 4:22 tells us that when your children ask, "What do these stones mean?" tell them, "Israel crossed the Jordan on dry ground." As a pastor and as a teacher, I ask myself this question a lot. Are we passing the story of the great things God has done on to the next generation? And I fear we are not. This is not a new problem. C.H. Spurgeon wrote a devotional, parts of which I would like to share, back in 1869 in a book called Mornings and Evenings. He was examining this scripture, which is Joel 1:3. He says, "Tell ye your children of it, and let your children tell their children, and their children another generation." He said this, "In this simple way, by God's grace, a living testimony for truth is always to be kept alive in the land. The beloved of the Lord are to hand down their witness for the gospel and the covenant to their heirs, and these again to their next descendants. This is our first duty. We are to begin at the family hearth." He says, "He is a bad preacher who does not commence his ministry at home." He said, "The heathen are to be sought by all means, and the highways and hedges are to be searched, but home has a prior claim. And woe be unto those who reverse the order of the Lord's arrangements." To teach our children is a personal duty. We cannot delegate it to Sunday school teachers or other friendly aides. These can assist us, but cannot deliver us from this sacred obligation. Mothers and fathers must, like Abraham, command their households in the fear of God and talk with their offspring concerning the wondrous works of the Most High. He goes on to say that parental teaching is a natural duty, and to neglect the instruction of our offspring is worse than brutish. He goes on and he says family religion is necessary for the nation, for the family itself, and for the church of God. He said, by 1,000 plots, Satan is covertly advancing in our land, and one of his most effectual means of resisting his inroads is left almost neglected, namely the instruction of children in the faith. He wishes that, he said, would that parents would awaken to the sense of the importance of this matter. It is a pleasant duty to talk of Jesus to our sons and daughters, and the more so because it has often proved to be an accepted work, for God has saved the children through the parents' prayers and admonitions. He concludes with this at the end of his particular book: "May every house into which this volume shall come honor the Lord and receive his smile." So as we progress through our day today, let us keep in mind that we have a responsibility beyond ourselves. We have a responsibility to the Lord to pass on the great things that have happened in the Bible and the great things that have happened in our lives to our children on a daily basis. I hope you have a terrific day today. Just remember, I'm here if you need me, and I love you all.